Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com. Here with a really cool reissue, licensed and reissued, of music by Ernest Bloch on Alto, the Alto label, with some classic performances. I mean, really, really vintage stuff. First, we have the three Jewish poems, which were licensed from Koch, with the New Zealand Symphony Orchestra under James Sedares. Very nice performances, very well recorded. They're fine, but the real fun stuff is the Israel Symphony and Schelomo with Zara Nelsova, cellist, and the Utah Symphony under Maurice Abravanel. These are the classic Vanguard recordings of yore, which actually came out on CD on Vanguard back in the days when Vanguard had its brief re-existence on compact disc. I am so happy this material got licensed because it is absolutely wonderful stuff. I mean, these Abravanel Bloch recordings were great. They were just terrific. I mean, so much of the Abravanel legacy on Vanguard is marvelous, and I hope that the Alto folks have lots of it, and they will slowly make it all available. I don't care if they box it up or they do it singly, whatever works best. Just get the stuff out there. There is so much interesting repertoire that was absolutely unique in its day, and some of which hasn't been done very much since, if at all. And the performances were really of very, very high quality, particularly of unusual things, the lesser known stuff, and this certainly qualifies. Now, what is the Israel Symphony? Well, the Israel Symphony is a big, gorgeous, sort of faux Orientalist tone poem. It has three big movements. The movements have titles. Let's do the titles here. They are Prayer in the Desert, and then Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, which is marked Allegro Agitato. It's not a droopy Day of Atonement. I mean, Yom Kippur was always kind of a droopy day for us when I was a kid growing up because, first of all, you're fasting. You're not eating, so you're hungry, most of the time anyway. And you rest because you spend all day going back and forth to synagogue and praying. I mean, if you're really religious, you spend the whole day in synagogue praying. So it's kind of a down day. There's not a lot of fun and entertainment. But Bloch seems to make the atonement far more interesting than it ever was for me when growing up. And it's just wonderful music. And then finally, Maes Moderato is Sukkot, the festival of where you build your little booth. It's the harvest festival. And you go out into the field and you gather things in and you sleep in your little portable thing there. And it's a lovely holiday, really a beautiful fall celebration of life. And it ends with Simchas Torah, celebrating the giving of the Torah. I mean, it's just a wonderful, wonderful holiday and lots of fun with lots of good food, by the way. So, it's a wonderful symphony. It's about great stuff. The topic is really a fun thing. It's written for a big orchestra and 5 soloists who don't say anything particularly meaningful. They say some things in Hebrew that Bloch sort of found and stuck in there, but it doesn't really matter what they're singing about. What matters is the music. And if you like, it's been compared to those 1950s cast of thousands, Hollywood Bible pics, the big glamour stories, things like that, and I guess rightly so. But it was written much, much earlier. Bloch, anticipated all of that stuff. He wrote these 19 teens, at the beginning of his career, and a wonderful expression of nationalistic romanticism. Of the Jewish type, because there wasn't much of it. I mean, let's face it, there really wasn't much of it. And he was, Bloch was Swiss, and for him to do this, I think, took a certain amount of courage and quite a bit of integrity. And so, his Jewish works are pretty special in terms of repertoire, in terms of the expression of nationalist feeling of a group that had no nation. So it was it was sort of a unique historical moment. You know, it was when the Zionist movement was going and all that stuff. It's very, very interesting in its musical ramifications. But then we get Schelomo, Bloch's most famous piece. It's really a cello concerto. It's a symphonic poem for cello and orchestra, kind of like Strauss's Don Quixote, though it's not a theme in variations. It's about, in this performance, it's fabulous. It's 19 minutes and 19 seconds. Yay! Usually it's about 20 minutes. Some performances tend to ooze all over it and stretch it out to 20 some odd interminable minutes. I really like it when it's kept a little bit more urgent and passionate and impulsive, as here. And Nelsova was a fantastic cellist. She was known actually as being, you know, a lady cellist who could go with the best of them, with the guys. I mean, she was known for having what they called a masculine timbre. Don't ask me what that means. I have no idea what that means. All I know is that she was a first-rate cellist with an incredibly high level of energy. I guess that's what it meant. I mean, she was a powerful cellist. She did not screw around, and she doesn't in Schelomo. This is a wonderful performance of Schelomo, and I just think, you know, to hear it played in one giant, passionate, exciting arch is just wonderful. I mean, I grew up with this recording, I have to confess. I didn't imprint on it. My first Schelomo was not this one. I have to remember, what was my first Schelomo? I don't even remember what my first one was. I'll have to go back and think about that a little bit. But it certainly wasn't this one. It was not. And when I did hear this, though, I remember just thinking, ooh, that's really exciting. And it had this wonderful inevitability to it, which the piece not always has, because it, like I said, it can really die if it's, you know, mooned over too much. So yeah, this is major stuff. A really important release of fantastic repertoire in classic performances, and I recommend it accordingly. You can't go wrong. So it's Maurice Abravanel of the Utah Symphony with the Israel Symphony and Schelomo, and James Sedares with the New Zealand Symphony in the Three Jewish Poems. Beautiful, beautiful works by a very distinctive composer. If you like late romantic, tuneful, you know, well, maybe a little bit tacky here and there, but in a good way. You know what I mean. You know, pre-film Hollywood-esque, Far Eastern kind of music, then your ship has come in. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.